It's funny when we ask for certain things, we may forget that we did ask for it, and we may not recognize it because it doesn't look like what we expected it to be. And things may change. Guys, what's going on? Welcome to the Bird Brain Podcast, where the goal is to rise above it all, stay elevated, create that infinity, and up your you. I'm your host, Isaiah. Happy Mental Health Awareness Month, first of all. Happy May. How are you? And forgive me, because I think I have allergies right now. It's come out of nowhere, so if I sound a little under the weather, my allergies are like, yeah, we're here, buddy. How are you guys? It feels like it's been a while, primarily because for me, there's been so many things going on. And I just recently had a big book signing, meet and greet, author Q&A. And some of you guys were actually there. My first book signing at Barnes & Noble in person, did a little Q&A, had a little talk session, signed some books, took some pictures with you guys, kissing babies, that whole shabam. And it was such an amazing experience. So many wonderful people I just got to share that time with, and truly a reminder of when you ask for what you want, you have to be willing to work for that. And if it's something that you truly want, it will happen. And so many things may happen in process of that. If there is one thing that I've learned, y'all, and I've probably talked about it a million times on here, when we ask for bigger things, when we ask for more appreciation, when we ask for success, when we ask for just peace, love, all these things, when we ask for those things, we have to understand that room needs to be made on an energetic level, in a physical space. Like, room needs to be there for those things to fit. And the room has to be clean enough. Okay? And I think that's where the hiccup happens a lot of times for us, is that we may desire like a lot of these things. Like it's a desire, I want better, I want this, I want this. However, we are still holding on to self-limiting beliefs. We are not really moving in that modality to have those things just function as our normal. We are doing the couch, the couch wishes. If you think about it, it's like, you know, people who talk about manifestation a lot of times. I'm just gonna manifest this from my couch. Couch manifestations are basically, you are wanting things to come to you, but you are not meeting them in the middle. And meeting them in the middle can vary. It all depends. What you desire, what it actually looks like. I know for me, last year I told myself this year I would be doing book signings. I want to do a book tour. I want to do something to that degree. And we're doing it. And not only are we doing it, I'm making it happen. Right? This has required a certain level of tenacity from Isaiah, right? A certain level of, what's what I'm looking for? Being present for myself. A certain level of self-avocation, a certain level of recognizing what is not working moving forward. Um, professionally, personally, like in all realms. And this is the stuff that when we talk about success, we are not fully equipped to experience for a lot of times. It's not something that we are fully prepared for, because there's a balance. I believe there's a balance with everything. So if things are not going well in life, there is something that is building up, for the better too. But we are so fixated on what's not working that we may not even understand or appreciate what is working, right? We can't recognize it. And I know for me, leading up to this moment, leading up to my book signing, leading up to everything that I need to do for it, all that stuff, leading up to it, there were a lot of things that were either making their way out or were being just removed or just kind of disassembled. And for me, it was not the. Sometimes there's a knowing that you have. You know it needs to be done. You know what's not being done. You recognize what is happening. And it's just a matter of time before you either make that decision or something happens, right? Divine intervention. Something just happens. It could be a conversation, it could be something said, or whatever. And it sets the tone for what needs to take place. And for me, a lot of times, that is how things transpire. I always say what is meant for you will not feel like work. It will require effort, yes, but it will not feel like you are working it. Because when you're working something, it stops being you. You're trying to manufacture something that is not necessarily there. This applies to relationships too. That's why I don't believe in the whole, you gotta fight through things, you gotta do this. Because a lot of times you're fighting for something or you're fighting against something that is not for you. And you know it by, that body energy, that body movement, that the messages, the chemistry, all this stuff. And it sounds so hoity-toity, right, or woo-woo, but it really is. There is some truth. There's a lot of truth actually to, you know, rejecting your body, or or other people, like just generally a rejection of things that are not for you. And you'll feel it. It will resonate. And I know for me, it's funny because I like to, uh, as of late, I've been, journaling, and sometimes I'll look at what my goal is for the beginning of the month, what my challenges are, and then I go through the month, right? And then I look back at what I wrote down the beginning of the month and what I've managed to accomplish throughout the month. And a lot of times I will see changes. And it's so cool. It's just so cool to see what transpired and what happened. And I remember in April, I wrote down a couple of affirmations. And I think one of them is releasing things that are a reaffirmation of my insignificance or me feeling that way, or etc. I was like, I released these things. This is what I'm letting go of. And when I tell you guys, there were certain instances, occurrences, behaviors, um, relational dynamics, just like modalities and exchanges that were happening in such a very interesting way. And even if conversations were had, the way they transpired was very much of like, oh, this is an end right now. This is where we stopped. And I was randomly, this is something I had forgotten about. Like, I forgot that I wrote down these affirmations. And then one day I was just flipping through my journal just recently. And I was looking at all the occurrences recently, and I was like, damn, this happened, this is going on. is it me? Like, is there something that I'm missing that this is transpiring? What exactly is going on? Because it's a little frustrating, right? To some degree, it is very much frustrating to be in this exchange where there is a level of discomfort, but there is a level of honesty and sobering um, identifiers that what is going on in this exchange is either one sided, it's not healthy, it's inconducive, or it's just not honest, right? And I was like, man, what is what what the hell, you know? But I had a knowing all this entire time that certain things were just not cool, and I was like, okay, I gotta do something about this. I just don't know what. And then finally, things just kind of, conversations were had, or, you know, colors were shown, and it's just like, oh, okay, cool. Here's where we are. I felt this way for a while, and it's been on my mind constantly, and I've been kind of sitting on it, you know. And sometimes people meet you halfway in the best way possible. Sometimes things meet you halfway. And I had looked back in my journal, just like going through it, looking at my goals and what I'd been writing down for the month of April, etc. And I got to that page where I wrote down the affirmations, what I was releasing. And the entire month of April for me was very much in that energy, rooted in that energy, and things happened within that time. My birthday for one, that's new life, right? I started the month with my birthday. I ended the month and going into Mental Health Awareness Month with a meet and greet, a Q&A, a book signing. And I was like, yes, this is what I want for myself. This is what I'm willing to make room for. Okay? And it's a very powerful affirmation when you say you are wanting to make room for certain things in your life. Are you willing to accept what that looks like? Are you willing to accept the other things that need to be released potentially, or things that need to change for you to receive those things properly? For me, yes. I am in that space where it's a yes. You know, and the reason why I trust that so much is because I know at the end of the day what's in my life, um, that's intentionally there to build upon it and vice versa, is going to be fine. It's going to move through the seasons with me. It's going to be a part of everything that I'm building and everything that I'm seeking. I'm confident in that. And the things that do fall away and that dissipate, okay, cool. It served this season. And it doesn't need to be malice around it either. And I think the beautiful thing is when you know how you move, right? You have a history of how you function. You won't feel this weight or this burden when things do kind of take their leave. It actually feels like a relief. It's like, oh, okay. This is the confirmation. It may not look like how you anticipated. Even the conversations may not look like how you anticipated. But there is a knowing that you have when they happen. Sometimes what we ask for may come in a very different package. Um, and if our mental health is not being taken care of by us, if we are not doing the things, if we're not disciplined, if we are not operating in a space of, yes, this is what I'm sure of, this is what I'm certain of, this is what I want. If we are not functioning in that, we will exist in a lot of confusion, a lot of disruption, right? A lot of inconsistency, a lot of instability as to where those things won't even feel right, or it just feels like we don't have room for it because we're trying to hold on to all these other things. Like the release is a beautiful thing because sometimes you are releasing control, right? I was talking to my sister about that. We were having a little chit chat and she said something so profound. First of all, the people in my life are truly my counsel, right? They are. I was talking to one of my closest buddies about this. Is like the people in my life I handpicked. These are the people I am choosing. And I'm choosing them actively because not what they can do for me, but just because of who they are. Who they are as individuals and what they choose to be, right? To be inspired. It's a wonderful thing. And I was talking to my sister and she said something on the lines of, I am not looking to control anyone. I can only control myself. And yes, when you're not looking to control anyone, you let people be who they are and you stop trying to fight for them to be something different. Okay, you could give people chances, but that doesn't mean you are trying to control them to change who they are. You're just giving them opportunity to do what they do. And in that process, we are also learning, okay, am I giving this person a chance of redemption, or am I just kind of devaluing myself slowly and trying to find a way to get accustomed to it? Okay, sometimes we are so fearful of making decisions because we don't want people to dislike us for the decisions that we make. And sometimes the decisions that you need to make are to like yourself more. But we won't do that because of how we fear being perceived, right? If you want better, you got to make room for it, y'all. You have to make room for it. And making room for it looks like, having the discipline, having the wherewithal, sitting down, like, for example, looking at your budget. You want more finances? You want better finances? Sit down, do the uncomfortable work, look at your budget, create a system. Like, do these things that creates room for what you desire. It happens in the little things. And that's what we don't get. And sometimes, discipline is not obsession. Discipline is not fixation. Like, if you say, all right, cool, this is what I want. All right, cool. This is what I desire. This is what I'm going to work towards. This is how I'm just going to function. Boom, 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 boom. And you let it become so intentional that it's kind of passive. It's so ingrained in your behavior and just how you function and how you operate. The month of April has taught me that. There were certain things I was intentionally looking to release, which means that I had to be in a certain practice of discomfort to allow those things to fall away. And even when the conversations arose and I needed to be honest about certain things, it happened. And I got what I needed to get from that situation. I got honesty. Okay. And the honesty just reaffirmed maybe what I've been feeling for a while or what I've been observing for a while. It's like, all right, cool. We got it. Sometimes what you are asking for, you may not be ready for. It may not look like how you expect, but also your mental health may not be able to sustain it just yet. So what are you doing about that? Okay? You don't need to be overwhelmed. You don't need to be overworked. You just have to be a little bit more disciplined and things will follow through. Okay? If you guys ordered a coloring book, I just got a big shipment. Oh man, I got a huge order. So we are going to be knocking those suckers down. So thank you guys for your patience, of course, but they will be coming out to you. And I think this month I really want you to double down on your mental health and being aware of what mental health means for you and how you're going to take care of it. Like, what is the process? So just something to consider. Okay. Also, if you're on the East Coast, there is a film festival in Delaware, New Arc Film Festival. I will put the information in the description of this episode. So New Arc Film Festival, they are currently taking submissions. It is in August. Very cool film festival by my buddy, Kazi. You may have seen him in an Equalizer. He's badass, and he's creating a new opportunity and a new community for artists and filmmakers to showcase their talent. So submit if you're down. I will be dropping the link. And if you're looking to submit, if you're a filmmaker on the East Coast and you want to get some skin in the game, check it out. Okay. Coaching is also available. I am accepting new clients. The link will also be in the description of this episode as well. And I think that's it. I really think that's it. I'll be having more book signings this year. Once it gets closer to the date, I'll be dropping the info so you guys know about it. I know the East Coast has been asking, and I will be delivering. So stay tuned for that, all right? But in the meantime, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. If you showed up to the book signing, thank you for being there. It was so great to meet you. And yeah, just take flight, y'all. Later.